Hey, it's your friend Christiano, and welcome to the Queer Quest podcast. Hello, fabulous souls. Welcome back to the Queer Quest podcast, where we talk about the things most people won't. And today, we're diving into one of the biggest, the deepest, the most unspoken topics in our community, queer mental health. Not the Instagram quote, not the rainbow meme version of it, but the real, the raw, the behind the scenes version that you deserve to have this conversation about. The one where the smiling selfies don't tell the full story. The ones where we're out, but still feel like we're hiding. The one where we've come so far, but damn, there's still so much work to be done. And it's still so hard sometimes. Today's episode is called Queer Mental Health, What No One Talks About. Because the truth is, we're still carrying so much. And too often, we carry it alone. So if you've ever felt like you're too sensitive in a world that's emotionally numb, wondered why you're so anxious, even when things seem fine, found yourself being everyone's emotional support system, but having no one to lean on, then this one's for you. Now, if you get value out of today, which I truly trust that you will, then can you please do this episode a huge favor and help boost it to others in the queer community by liking and commenting and sharing and tagging and subscribing or reviewing us on whatever platform you're on, as this does much more than you may know towards getting this episode in the hands of other queer people and ones who probably really need it most. So thank you for whatever you can do to support us. Now take a deep breath, gorgeous one. Because you're not broken, you're not dramatic, you're not failing at anything in life. You're living in a world that often doesn't get you. And you're surviving with grace. You're surviving with creativity. And you're surviving with a shitload of heart. Now, that's not weakness, that's magic. Let's start with the first major truth bomb, which is all about the invisible weight that we carry as queer people. So let's talk about something I call this invisible weight, that chronic, low-level tension that so many of us live with as queer people. Now, it's that tiny flinch when someone asks if you're seeing anyone, and you have to calculate in your mind, is it safe enough to say their name, to say you have a partner or a boyfriend or a girlfriend or whatever, right? Is it safe for you to do that? It's all those mental gymnastics of reading the room to see if it's going to be queer affirming or if it's actually going to be quietly or sometimes loudly hostile towards you. It's also the ache of walking past, your old school or your old church or a family home or another, social place where parts of you had to die just to be allowed to stay there. That weighs on us, right? That's something that we all carry and we all can understand that invisible weight. It's also the smile that you wear in work meetings, the humor that you use to deflect a joke, or it's the perfectionism that masks your fear of being judged by others. It's not just one thing. It's not just two things. It's not even just three things. It's everything all at once, all the time. And the world doesn't always see it because we've learned to perform strength, to sparkle even when we're sad or upset or lonely, to be the funny friend, the wise one, the one who always has it all together. But underneath, so many of us are carrying that exhaustion. We're carrying that burnout, carrying that loneliness, that disassociation that we all can relate to. And sometimes we're also carrying that deep rage. Now, we've spent years, sometimes decades, really learning to shrink our emotions to make others comfortable. And here's the part that no one talks about. Even in queer spaces, we don't always feel safe enough to admit how much we're struggling internally, how difficult it is for us, how much of a hard time that we're going through. Because there's shame there, right? Shame that says, you're out now, you should be happy. Or there are people who have it worse in life. Stop being so emotional. Or even, don't make us look bad, be the good queer. Let me say this loud, and let me say this clearly for everyone out there. Your pain is valid. Your mental health matters. You don't have to be strong all the time to be worthy of love. That's been a defense mechanism that you've had to put on in order to survive. And we're here to bust those old defense mechanisms and move forward in a much happier, much authentic way. So we're going to take this slowly. Over the next few sections, we're going to be unpacking the systems that have failed us, the stories that we've internalized time and time again, and the possibilities we have for actually healing and growing and transforming that pain into power. But first, I want you to check in with yourself. Where are you right now emotionally? What's your body holding on to right now that it's time to maybe let go of? And what would it feel like to not carry it all alone? Coming up in this next part, we're going to be talking about how mainstream mental health systems continue to fail queer people and why so many of us don't feel safe seeking help, even when we desperately need it. Hey love, while I've got you, I want to gift you with something powerful, something I wish I had when I was cracked open and crawling through the mess of heartbreak, shame, and that deep ache of, why am I like this? If you've ever felt like healing is this confusing, invisible maze where you're just surviving one emotional breakdown after another, if you've been wondering, is something wrong with me? I want you to know, you're not lost. You're not broken. You're becoming. Most queer people were never given a roadmap for healing. We were taught to hide, to perform, and to shrink. We've been gaslit by religion, erased by culture, and taught to just get over it. But healing isn't a straight line, especially when you're queer. It's not just about feeling better. It's about coming home to your queer, radiant, whole hour self. That's why I created the Journey to Queer Healing, a free guide that maps out the 18 emotional stages of queer healing. It's not just theory, it's your soul's survival map. You'll see where you are, what's next, and what's possible on the other side of the pain. This guide has helped hundreds of queer people realize it's not just me. I'm not behind. I finally understand what I'm going through. Download the guide today. Let it remind you, your healing isn't random. It's divine. Download it now via the link in the show notes. Or you can comment guide on this video or on any of my socials and I'll send it directly to you. And when you're ready to go deeper, join us for the Queer Comeback webinar. Let's make your healing sacred and make your comeback legendary. I'll see you on the journey. Welcome back, beautiful human. Let's keep going and let's keep going deeper this time. Now, in that first part, we talked about that invisible weight that so many queer folks carry every single day. Now, let's talk about why so many of us, even those who want to heal, still don't trust the systems that claim to help us. Because here's the deeper truth that no one talks about enough. Mainstream mental health systems, they weren't born for queer people to thrive. They weren't built for us, right? And in many ways, we still aren't there yet. So let's move on to this next major point. Therapy isn't always a safe space. Yeah, I said it. Now I know therapy can be beautiful. It can be transformational. It can be life-saving. But for many queer people, therapy has also been a site of harm. Now, raise your hand if you've ever had a therapist misgender you and then correct themselves. Or you've had to spend half your session educating your own therapist about queer culture just to feel seen. Is that our job to do that for the therapist? I don't think so. And raise your hand if you've ever been pathologized for your sexuality or your gender expression, even if it's subtle. Well, sometimes it's not in subtle ways. Yeah, I thought so. And you're not alone. Many queer folks go to therapy and leave feeling more isolated than when we walked in. Because some clinicians, some therapists, some coaches, even the ones who mean well the most, haven't unpacked their own biases. Now, they see queerness as a trauma response or a phase or something they accept but don't actually understand. And that's exhausting, right? Especially when you're already carrying so much. To have to also explain your humanity to someone who's supposed to help you heal, that's not care, that's emotional labor. Mental health isn't one size fits all. So let's zoom out for a minute. Think about how most mental health advice is packaged. Meditate for 10 minutes a day. Journal your gratitude. Cut out toxic people. Practice mindfulness. Take your medication if you need them to deal with your anxiety and your depression. Oh, that. And while some of us can absolutely, some of this can absolutely be helpful, it's often served to us without any cultural context or understanding of the real root causes of these problems. Now, there's really no mention of how hard it is to cut out toxic people when they're your family and the only people who may still talk to you. How meditating isn't easy when your body still, feels unsafe in stillness and is having these nervous system responses. Or how gratitude journaling feels pointless when you've internalized the belief that you don't deserve joy. So many queer people have complex trauma. They have spiritual trauma. They have relational trauma. They have religious trauma. They have systemic trauma. And we're expected to self-regulate our nervous system in a world that continues to dysregulate us. Hello, does that sound normal? Does that sound fair? Does that sound like something that we should be doing? So what do? We name it. We say, this isn't working. We say, we need queer-centered care. We say, our healing doesn't have to look like theirs. Because here's the revolutionary part. We are allowed to reclaim our healing on our terms. We're allowed to find queer therapists and coaches who get it. Lean into our chosen family and community care. We're allowed to explore alternative healing, somatics, art therapy, plant medicine, queer spirituality, movement, pleasure, rest, rage, reconnect. We need to build rituals that center our whole selves, not just the parts that are not, that are palatable to others. So take a breath with me right now. Inhale. You are allowed to heal differently. Exhale. You are allowed to rewrite your own story. Doesn't that feel good? Do that a couple more times. Inhale. You are allowed to heal differently. Exhale. You are allowed to rewrite your story. Now, coming up in this next part, we're going to explore the emotional inheritance that we carry as queer people, whether it's the grief, whether it's the rage, or even the shame that we've absorbed from generations before us and how we begin to release it. Hey babe, quick moment before we dive back in. I have a question for your soul. Have you ever felt like you lost yourself somewhere along the way? Maybe it was the breakup that shattered you, or the years spent hiding, bending, blending, just to feel safe. Or maybe it's the quiet ache that whispers there has to be more to this life than just surviving. Well, I want to invite you to something that's not just a webinar. It's a comeback, a queer one, a sacred, fabulous, F the rules kind of comeback. It's called the Queer Comeback Webinar. And inside, I'm sharing the 3 secrets every queer soul needs to know to come home to themselves, unapologetically, spiritually, powerfully. This isn't about fixing you because you're not broken. This is about remembering who the F you are. If you're tired of dimming your light, people pleasing, or playing small just because of society's judgment, come. This is your moment. Not someday, not when, you're more ready. Now. Tap the link in the show notes or just comment "come back" and I'll send you the link. Reserve your free spot now. And if you're multitasking right now, pause this video for just 1 second and do this for you. Your comeback isn't deserved, it's overdue. I'll see you there, my love. Okay, beautiful soul. Now that we've unpacked how the system often fails us, let's talk about something even deeper, something more ancestral, something more spiritual. Let's talk about emotional inheritance and the pain that we carry that isn't even ours. Now, we're carrying generations of silence. If you've ever sat with a grief that felt older than your own memories, old memories, if you've ever cried without knowing why, if you've ever felt like your body has been holding on to these secrets that it never gets to tell, you're not imagining that many queer people are carrying generational pain. Even if our families don't know our truth, even if they rejected us, even if we never got to meet the queer ancestors who lived and died in silence. Here's the thing, queerness has always existed, but safety hasn't. And so much of that unspoken trauma, it lives in our bodies. Unacknowledged queer grief looks like feeling waves of sorrow with no clear source. Mourning the life you didn't get to live sooner. Carrying the pain of queer people who never got to come in. Rage at the systems that stole our histories, our heroes, our hope. Loneliness in knowing that you're the first in your lineage to choose truth over survival. Now, this grief isn't just personal. It's collective. It's ancestral. It's cultural. And no one teaches us how to grieve a culture that was never allowed to exist fully. The next point is, but we also inherit the magic, don't we? Now, here's where it gets powerful for us. We don't only inherit pain. We also inherit resistance. We inherit the spark of rebellion that says, I will not shrink. The knowing that there is nothing broken about us. The creative fire of queer artists, healers, and lovers who keep beauty alive through it all. The courage to make a family when none was offered to us. The radical softness of loving ourselves in a world that told us not to. Our trauma is real, but so is our transformation. And the more that we speak this aloud, the more we normalize this conversation, the more that we awaken a new kind of mental health for our community, one that is rooted not just in surviving, but in thriving. Let this land. You are not the first queer person to feel broken, but you might be the first to decide, I will not carry this any further. This is sacred. This is brave. That is healing. So coming up in our final section, we're going to talk about what queer mental wellness can look like, how we create support systems, rituals, and identities that feel like home in our minds again. Hey love, before you go, I need to tell you something important. You weren't meant to do this healing journey alone. You weren't meant to figure out your queer identity, your purpose, your healing, your worth in silence. So if you've been listening and thinking, I'm ready, I want to transform, I want to live fully, I just don't know how, this is your sign. This is your queer comeback. Welcome to Queer Quest Pro, a revolutionary 12-month journey of queer healing, growth, and transformation in every area of your life. From your mental and emotional health to your spiritual connection, purpose, finances, identity, relationships. This is your full circle evolution. We guide you month by month through the queer wellness wheel of life with workshops, live coaching, quests, rituals, and a global community of queer souls rising together. It's the place for woke queer humans who are ready to rise unapologetically. Because healing is hard, but healing in community, that's sacred. And baby, you deserve sacred. Are you ready to live a life that actually feels like yours? Click the link in the show notes to join us now. Doors are open. We're waiting for you inside. This is your comeback. Don't miss it. Okay, fam, we've looked at the silence, the stigma, the systems, the shadows. But now, let's imagine what healing actually looks like. Because here's the truth. Queer mental health isn't about becoming someone else. It's about coming home to yourself, your whole, messy, magnificent, neurodiverse, nonlinear, deeply human self. Healing looks different for us, and that's a good thing. So let's name it. Most mental health systems were not designed with queer people in mind. We've said that before. You get it, you understand it, you've lived it. Which means that we often have to design our own. And that is where our power lives. Healing for us might look like finding a therapist who sees your queer identity as sacred, not a symptom. Processing trauma through art, through drag, through movement, through dance, or ritual, not just talk therapy. It looks like letting go of the pressure to be productive and embracing slowness, softness, rest, relaxation. It could be reclaiming your right to feel joy, to feel rage, to feel sadness, to feel desire, to feel all of the emotions that are on the spectrum. Creating art or poetry as a way to metabolize your grief and make meaning out of life. Now, we don't need a cookie cutter recovery plan. We actually need a radically queer roadmap to mental wellness. And that starts firstly with permission. Permission to not be okay. Permission to seek support. Permission to take up space in our own minds again. Community is the medicine. Let me be real with you for just a few moments. Even though I've been real this whole time, I just want that to sink in for a second. Healing in isolation is damn near impossible. I'll say that again. Healing in isolation is damn near impossible. So let that sink in for a second. And for queer folks, community isn't just connection. It can be a real sense of survival. We heal in chosen families who actually ask, how are you doing? And they really mean it, right? We heal in online queer groups where you can post your truth at 2 a.m. and get love back from all these people. We heal in friendships where your neurodivergence isn't too much. It's just you. We heal in group therapy circles or queer-led support spaces that speak our language. We heal in, all of these different ways. When we gather, when we grieve, when we grow together, we stop pretending and we start healing. So if you're listening to this and feeling like you're the only one struggling, let me tell you, you're not. I have been through the depths of my own struggle and I pulled myself up. And now I'm here to help you as well. You are never alone in this. These are the final words that I want to share with you today. Your queer mind is not broken. Your sensitivity is not a weakness. Your pain is valid and your healing is possible. Whether you're just beginning this journey or you're deep in the process. You deserve peace. You deserve clarity. You deserve to feel safe inside your own head. This is why Queer Quest exists, to give you the tools, to give you the support, to share with you the stories and our community to remember your wholeness. This isn't about fixing yourself. It's about loving yourself as you are and building a life that supports your becoming. Now, if this episode has spoken to you, share it with someone who really needs to hear this. Whether you tag them, whether you send it to them, let them see it. Leave us a review, send us a message, and let us how you personally navigate your queer mental health. And if you're ready for more, check out all of the mental health quests and so much more on Queer Quest Pro. It's queer-led, it's deeply healing, and it's made for all the parts of you they said were too much, and some of the times where you felt not enough. Until next time, you are valid, you are powerful, you are never alone. And always remember, you've got this, I've got you. Bye for now.